The Atlantic Ocean has always been a theater where powerful nations play a subtle game of cat and mouse. But in early January 2026, that quiet game shattered dramatically. On January 7, 2026, U.S. forces executed a high-stakes operation to seize the Russian-flagged oil tanker Marinera, formerly known as the Bella 1, in the North Atlantic, about 190 miles off Iceland's southern coast. This bold move set shockwaves from Washington to Moscow, marking a tense escalation that brought major powers to the brink of confrontation amid fears of broader conflict. This wasn't merely a dispute over oil shipments. It was a stark test of who truly controls the high seas in 2026. The drama unfolded over weeks of pursuit. The tanker, part of the notorious Shadow Fleet evading Western sanctions on Venezuelan and reportedly Iranian oil, initially tried to approach Venezuela to load crude. When U.S. Coast Guard attempts to board it in the Caribbean were refused, the vessel fled eastward across the Atlantic. In a classic evasion tactic, often called the ghost ship maneuver, the crew renamed it from Bella 1 to Marinera, crudely painted a Russian flag on the hull, and had it added to Russia's shipping registry on December 25, 2025, without a full inspection. They hoped the Russian flag would deter U.S. action, betting Washington would hesitate to board a vessel under Moscow's protection. They were mistaken. U.S. authorities, armed with a federal court warrant, had tracked it relentlessly using satellites, P-8 Poseidon aircraft, and the USGC cutter Monroe. Washington faced a stark choice: let it slip away and appear weak, or intercept it and risk clashing with Russia. They chose interception, knowing the tanker was heading toward areas where intervention would become impossible. As the vessel steamed through international waters, U.S. helicopters, MH-60 Seahawks, and reportedly MH-6 Littlebirds descended in a precisely coordinated assault. Viral footage released by the Coast Guard and shared across news outlets captured the intensity. Rotors thundering low over choppy waves, salt spray whipping against the hull as special teams fast-roped onto the moving deck. One helicopter provided overwatch, while the Monroe shadowed from afar, an imposing silhouette underscoring American naval dominance. The multinational crew had no time to summon aid before U.S. forces secured the bridge. By the time Russian naval assets, including a shadowing submarine, appeared on the horizon, the operation was complete. The U.S. had won by minutes. Moscow's reaction was immediate and furious. The Kremlin condemned the boarding as 21st-century piracy and a blatant violation of the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, insisting only Russia holds jurisdiction over its flagged ships on the high seas. Officials lost contact with the vessel post-boarding and demanded humane treatment for the crew, which included sailors from various nations. While some Russian voices called for retaliation, the response stayed diplomatic. Protests at the UN, legal challenges, and warnings of heightened Euro-Atlantic risks, avoiding direct military escalation. The tanker was empty at the time of seizure, contrary to early rumors of millions of barrels, but its history tied it firmly to illicit networks bypassing sanctions on Venezuela's regime. Simultaneously, the U.S. seized another Venezuela-linked vessel, the MT Sofia, in the Caribbean, part of a broader 2025-26 strategy, shifting from financial penalties to physical interdictions of the Shadow Fleet. This fits a tougher U.S. posture under the current administration, aimed at choking revenue to adversaries like Venezuela and, indirectly, Russia and Iran, even amid brinksmanship with nuclear powers. Experts debate whether it's legitimate sanctions enforcement or a dangerous precedent threatening freedom of navigation. Online, the viral boarding videos ignited fierce debate. Some hailed it as proof of American sea supremacy. Others warned of playing with fire that could ignite wider war. Rumors swirled about hidden cargo, nuclear components, or advanced gear, but officials confirmed the ship carried nothing illicit at seizure. Russian submarine escort arrived too late, tracked by U.S. assets throughout. No shots were fired. Cooler heads prevailed to avoid catastrophe. The crew, caught in the crossfire of giants,
surrendered peacefully and were treated humanely while U.S. forces took control. Regular mariners who just wanted to go home became unwitting pawns in this geopolitical drama. As the Marinera is towed toward a U.S. port for investigation, it stands as a symbol of a new era. The oceans are no longer neutral. Every sanctioned tanker now sails under interception risk, prompting more reflagging tricks, submarine shadowing, and potential asymmetric replies like cyberops or Arctic maneuvers. The rules of the sea have shifted. In 2026, the U.S. has shown willingness to deploy force against even Russian-flagged vessels to curb enemy funding, proving resolve at high risk. For Moscow, it highlights naval limits far from home. The blue waters are now a messy arena of power struggles. As the tanker nears shore, the world asks, what will the next vessel carry? And will cooler heads hold the next